Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bantikow, where today, well, we're continuing on from where we left off. So, I think the best thing to do is to pretty much wait until the harvester's done. The New Holland... oh, it is empty. So I'm just going to bring this up and get it up to the top of the field. The harvester should be done... oh, it's probably going to be done before... well, full. It's not going to be done for a while. It's probably going to be full before I get up there. But, as you can see, it's been going quite well on the uppy-downy nonsense that I've had it doing. So, today is... I have to check the date because I never remember. The 7th of March. I honestly don't know what date it is. I know what day it is based on random guessing most of the time, and how long it's been since I've watched Top Gear. And the reason I'm telling you what date it is because Ireland were playing Zimbabwe today in cricket. And yes, Ireland do have a cricket team. It was in the Cricket World Cup, and Ireland won the match by 5 runs with a couple of balls to spare. They got Zimbabwe all out for 226 and 326 even. 326. And Ireland in their innings at bat made 331. Now if you don't understand cricket at all, tough luck because I can't explain it. Basically it's like baseball, only sillier and more posh because the English invented it. And if you're English and don't understand cricket, or you don't understand baseball, I'm sorry, I can't help you ever. Because I don't understand baseball, I just know it exists. So, I'm kind of having to keep an eye on the time today for once. The actual time, not the amount of time I've been recording. I always keep an eye on that. But I'm having to keep an eye on the clock on my computer today, because my sister's finishing work 2 hours earlier than predicted, which has thrown a spanner in the works of my day, because I was taking my time because I thought I was going to myself, oh, I've got until 5 at the earliest. What could possibly go wrong? I can, start recording at 2, get 4 videos done, start editing and rendering, and then then everybody will be home and I won't be able to do anything because they'll all be home. No, that's not what happened. I got a phone call from my mother just as I was going to start recording, and yeah, my sister's finishing in like an hour, so I'd have to run downstairs and open the door and then stop recording for the day probably, because she loves putting the TV on really loud with music channels and I don't want a content ID match. I couldn't... I'm gonna see if I can get some more videos done today, because I am ahead, as you knew, because this video won't be going up until the 11th, I think? Literally sometime, I think it's the 11th. So I am a few days ahead. I want to get further ahead, just so that if I get sick for a week, because that's my standard, oh I'm sick, I am down and out for a week, that's my standard time for getting sick, is just 1 week, meh, done. So if I get sick, it'll be probably for a week, and it's almost always cold, sometime in April, March, April time usually. So I'm a bit worried I get one right now. I can feel one coming on, which is mildly worrying. I think I should be able to survive. So, I tested out the rental mod last night because I recorded the last video on Bantikow last night. And I tested it out last night on Westbridge Hills save I set up, and I found a few bugs. But they're not game-breaking bugs, but I need to test 1 or 2 more things before I really start using the rental mod. I discovered that Well, number one, I can't really rent anything at the moment because trying to deliver it back to the shop, which I think you have to do, the mod isn't very specific on it, and that's kind of confusing and worrying. But how I understand it is you rent it, it gets delivered to your farm, and you have it for the length of the rental. Now, what I thought you could do is return it early and get, like, some of the money back. So I tested that. I got the big... Actually, I got that precise harvester that I have here, the Axios Flow 7130. I got that on the Westbridge test save, and I rented it for a day and pretty much returned it to the shop immediately, and I ended up with 300,000 euro as a result, which doesn't make sense to me at all. But that's the thing that happened, so I have to deal with it. As well as I was talking to a friend of mine on Steam, I talk to every so often, and we were talking about maps in Farm Sim. He recommended Mayho Community to me, which I said yes, it's a good map, but it's a bit too graphics heavy for me, which is true. So I recommended him Bantikow. I think he's going to be playing Bantikow now as well. He doesn't do YouTube videos from what I know, but yes, I've turned somebody onto Bantikow. I'm going to turn off the animal HUD because that's just taking up space. So, this is the world's longest harvest. It's been going on for a week now. And we're almost done the first field. Luckily, the first field seems to be the biggest. Field 18 I can do uppy downy straight lines. Field 21 I can do crossy straight lines. This one's just a bit of a pain because of the way that it's laid out. I'm going to ignore the random bits of straw everywhere because I would be here for a week trying to get all of the straw up. The field is just too big for me to do it, and I have conceded defeat on removing all of the straw. So, did I seriously pick up all? No, I didn't. I thought I didn't. So, as you can see, the straw sale is going well. I think it's going to be not going to be long before I can afford a baler, which is nice, very nice in fact. But what's coming up next? Looks like canola's coming up next. I'm just going to check the map views. Canola is up next, yes. And then wheat, and then corn, then potatoes. And yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, I thought it'd be... So we got time to save up for a potato harvester. That's helpful. I'm gonna try and get the... Is it the Maxtron is the potato one? I'm terrible with these. Potato harvesting. The Textron is the potato one. Tater. Okay. I'm gonna have to try and remember that. I'm gonna try and save up for the Textron and get that. Because I don't want to be taking the potatoes in single lines, essentially. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to largely keep the fields laid out the same. So this field is going to get barley again once the harvest is finished, and we've left it lay fallow for a day. I think the seeding is going to be fun because, well, I have a 6-meter seeder that is what I believe to be a 10-meter header. I'm just going to double check now. How big is this header? 10. Oh my god, 10.5 meters, and it's taken us forever to do. I may end up getting a bit of a cheating seeder, but the seeder we have at the moment is 6 meters, which is... It's going to be a long seeding session. Let me put it that way. I might course play it. Might. I do have a few tactics to save money on this map as well. I do have a placeable seed manufacturing plant. Seed and fertilizer manufacturing plant, actually. So, hopefully, we will get the money together to afford the equipment for that. And all I need for that is crops. So, if I can get... No, basically, all I have to do is get it, throw some barley in, and hope for the best. Now I've set myself a new challenge because I've realised this is going to be very easy if I don't have a few just random challenges I throw at myself. And this isn't going to be an official rule, it's just going to be a challenge that I'm going to do myself. And the challenge is to have 1,000 of every animal that doesn't require me to be running around in an area to find the bloody eggs. So at the end of this map, hopefully, I have 1,000 cows, 1,000 sheep and 1,000 pigs. And me being me, I'm going to try and keep them at 100% productivity as much as I can. So that's going to be interesting. Joy is there's plenty of room for silage on this map. There's plenty of silage pits everywhere. So that's not going to be much of an issue. The real issue is going to be, well, getting the silage to the animals. There is a mixing plant, I think, by the cows. Where's the cows? Up between fields 7 and 8. I'm led to believe there's a mixing plant up there, so I can throw straw in it, and straw grass and silage, and get mixed rations out of it, which is going to save me time trying to get that together at least. I do also, I believe, have placeable heaps. I'm just going to check that because I'm not sure if it installed correctly. Placeables. Don't have placeable heaps, it did not install correctly. Unless it's in MISC. I'm just going to go to the mouse for this. It could be in MISC. Got this as well, Marhu's new conveyor. Apparently I don't have placeable heaps, that's going to be an issue. Anyway, I'm going to have to move this as soon as that's done. I'm going to continue emptying this. That is empty, in fact, so it's now just a case of waiting for the combine to empty completely, emptying out both the trailers, and continuing on with the foraging. I think I'm going to do another episode here. After this one I should have time. Okay, harvester's decided it's done, so let us throw cover onto the trailer so we don't lose any barley. I know we won't anyway, but let's just try and play it a bit more realistic than the game would like. So, let's get down to the storage area for barley. And actually, how much is... I'm a bit scatterbrained, sorry. How much is the seed production plant? 22,000. Well, let's get this bought. And... oh, thank God. I thought for a moment that it crashed again, so let's spin it down to the main farm, somewhere that it's not going to be in the way. So I think there-ish. Yeah, there-ish, like... here's the joy of using a controller, you can just make small little adjustments. Okay. So now, we'll start seed production. We do need manure or slurry to make fertilizer. That's going to be a minor issue, because we don't have any cows yet. I'm going to hold off on getting cows. Here's some lag. Well, I actually did a couple of minutes of testing the game to make sure it was stable today, and it still managed to throw some lag in my face just for funsies. That's wonderful. So let's get at least some of this barley into our new seed production facility, which is actually placed quite nicely just over there. I must admit I did that well. So how this works is you basically throw barley at it. Just using barley because that's what I have at the moment. You throw your seeds at it, and I'll just come in here and bring up the info menu. You throw grain, liquid manure and manure at it. The seeds are made by the seed master, or the sat maker, the seed maker. The fertilizer maker 5000 will make your manure. Do you actually need grain and you don't need fertilizer to make seeds, do you? Please tell me you don't need fertilizer to make seeds, because that would throw me for a bit of a loop. Okay, so that's the grain tank full. And I'm just going to pull out, stop over here and hop back in there just to see what's going on. Come on, door open. Oh, I do need to throw manure at it. See, that's now made some problems because I've got loads of grain in there but no manure. Either way, I'm going to explain how this works. Then the seeds come out this side, fertilizer comes out this side. So essentially, once I get some manure together, somehow, it will feed itself, in theory. Not quite sure how to transport fertilizer to it, but that's kind of a problem for a different day. We can use the Brantner I have for... I believe we can use the Brantner I have for Aldridge to transport these seeds, because I think they're marked down for seeds too, as a fill type as well. I got multi-fruit mod as well, so that should help. So that's this trailer unloaded, both of the trailers unloaded, and let's get back to the field and not take a wrong turn, because I keep going straight down there knowing that's the wrong way. I know it's the wrong way, keep doing it. So do we have a cultivator? Because if we have a cultivator, we don't have a cultivator because I sold it. Okay. I was just thinking to myself, if we had a cultivator I could start cultivating the field. We don't, and I'm partially tempted to buy one despite the fact that we don't really need one. Our seeder can cultivate. It is no-till, but it is a tempting prospect. But no, I'm gonna keep it like this for the time being. So we're on 22,280 euro, despite spending 22,000 euro in this episode. That bodes well. It bodes well for us not going into debt. Now I know that the debt threshold is midnight, but I prefer to not go into debt at all. I think now that we have the potential to make free seeds, well, we need to get some cows before I can make that claim. But the potential is there. We have the infrastructure in place. We just need to get the raw materials now. And the reason I'm saying this is because once we start getting free seeds, and they will essentially be free because of the way the cows work. Actually, I'll essentially be getting paid to make seeds, which is beautiful, because the cows will produce milk, and the milk will be sold off. The cows also produce manure, which I can use to make the seeds and fertilizer. And once we get to that point, our costs are gonna just drop and our profits are gonna skyrocket. Again, I think I mentioned this in Old Ridge Farm. Not very realistic for a farmer to be making his own seeds. Most seed companies are a bit mean and intentionally make seeds that cannot be reused. They are one use only, and the plants that grow from them do not produce seeds. They produce grain and corn and beet and potatoes, but they can't be used as seeds because of the way the plant has been bred, which is basically genetic engineering. It's genetic modification, albeit a lot slower. I'm not going to get into the GM foods rant again. Not going to get into that again. Before I do, I think I'm going to leave it here before I actually do get into the GM foods rant again. So, I'll leave it by saying I've been Rainbow Dave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 15 on Bantikow. Please comment, like and subscribe. Every YouTuber tells you to do it because it helps so very, very much. It helps the channel grow and helps me know that you like what I'm doing, essentially. Yeah, next time we will hopefully be finishing the harvest. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and goodbye. I almost forgot how to sign off. Oh well.